Hey everybody, it's Dave here from Dragonhill Games, and you're watching This Week in MTG Finance. As always, before we get started, I want to thank MTG Stocks for allowing us to use graphical information for the purposes of this video. Alright, before we get into things, I just wanted to put my heart on my sleeve for a second, so I really hope you guys don't mind. If you're a subscriber and you're watching this segment, as always, you know I want to thank you for being here. We really appreciate your support. And if not, now's a great time to hit that subscribe button. Listen guys, an important first step really for a YouTuber is to reach 1,000 subscribers. It means that your channel is viable. It means that your channel has sustainability, and it means that people want to watch you and listen to what you have to say. For whatever reasons, their reasons are their own. That said, it was an important goal for me to reach 1,000 subscribers before the end of 2019, and we're really close. So if you have subscribed, or if you've been with me from the beginning or subscribed recently, whatever the case may be, like I said, I want to thank you for your support. And if you have anyone that you think would enjoy this channel and get some value out of it, I would appreciate if you would share our channel with some of your friends. Like I said, going into 2020, I'd like to have over 1,000 subscribers, under my belt and have that part behind me. I've tried a lot of different videos with this channel, and I want you guys to know that going into 2020, we're going to be narrowing it down to the 3 core videos that I think you guys want to see the most, and that will be box opening videos, deck techs, and then these financial videos. And just to give you a bit of sort of explanation why I'm going to be narrowing down and focusing on those. So box opening videos, I get sometimes, I get as many as 20, 30, even 40,000 views on some of my box opening videos. But 99% of the people who watch those videos are not subscribers to this channel. And you know what? That's cool. Like, everybody wants to, get their fix, especially when sets are new. They want to see, kind of what cards, hey, what did this guy get in his box? But they have no real interest in, being a permanent sort of subscriber to that channel unless something really kind of grabs their attention in the video. And that's hard to do because so many people do box opening videos. They're kind of all just the same, right? But I'm going to keep doing that because, you know what, everybody wants to see that kind of stuff. And I really do enjoy doing those videos. And then, sort of the same thing with deck techs. I really love brewing. I'm a brewer by nature. You may have noticed that in the way I talk, even in these financial videos, but if you watch any of my deck tech videos, like, I really do love brewing, coming up with new concepts, things that are maybe sort of a little off the wall. I don't really usually follow the mainstream. I like to kind of come up with things that are a little bit different and sort of away from the norm or the most popular deck in the meta. That kind of stuff. So again, I've been playing Magic since 1993. I got in at the tail end of Revised, and been playing for many, many years. And I really do just love brewing. I love the game of Magic. This has always been, one of my favorite things to do. So those videos aren't going to change. But again, brewing videos, like deck tech type videos, 90, 95, even up to sort of 99% of the people that watch those videos, they want to see what the deck's about, and they kind of move along, right? So, but these videos here, these financial videos, I know that these are the videos that you guys want to see. And so I want you to know, as subscribers going forward, especially into 2020, that a lot of the focus of this channel is going to be around videos like this. And the reason why I know that, the one great thing about YouTube is YouTube kind of gives you a lot of information about your videos, right? So I post a video and I can see how many people that are subscribers that are watching it, how long you guys are watching it for, where you're cutting out of the video. So I kind of know, if I need to make changes going forward. So maybe there's a section that people are just kind of dropping off or whatever. I'm rambling. Sorry, guys. Anyway, but I know that with these types of videos, like, it's 80% plus the people that watch these videos are subscribers to this channel, which means this is content that you guys want to see. And this is content I love to talk about. I've been buying and selling Magic cards for 25 years. So, I got a little bit of experience under my belt. I own a store, so I know what I'm talking about to some extent with this stuff. And I really do like to share that information with you guys. And you guys, I can tell, like I said, by by the stats on these types of videos, that this is stuff you guys really want to see. So like I said, going forward, especially into 2020, there's going to be a new focus on those three things, box opening videos, deck techs, and then a heightened focus on these financial videos. Okay, enough about me rambling, guys. I really do thank you for listening to all that. All right, and let's get into this week in MTG Finance. As has been the case for the last few weeks, month or so since the Pioneer format has been announced, Pioneer's kind of been the star of the show, and this week is no different. So we're going to have a look at some of the cards that are spiking due to Pioneer. Some of it's speculation, other stuff is kind of, organic growth with good cards that are going to be good in the format, but a lot of it is speculation. So something like Ensoul Artifact, there's been a couple of decks crop up lately that have had Ensoul Artifact in them. I've had a look at them. They look like really strong decks. It's a great thing about Pioneer right now is like it's not solved, right? So there's tons of cards that are still going to be 50 cents today and $10 tomorrow, right? So this is kind of where we're at with this format. So this kind of stuff is going to be happening a lot over the next few weeks, month, even year, right? Until, especially as new sets are released and all that kind of stuff. Pioneer's in a really great position. I think it's a really fun format. And if you don't think it's the future of Magic the Gathering, you probably want to sort of rethink that. And the reason I say that is, well, let's have a look at, sort of Modern. So let's look at one of the sort of staple cards in Modern, Karn Liberated, right? Like this guy should have tons of value. Mythic rarity in every printing he's ever been. Tron is a top tier deck now in Modern, but it's always sort of been right there on the fringe of, being one of the best decks in Modern. And so Karn's always had some value. And over the years, he's just kind of creeped up. He's had a few reprints, here in Modern Masters 2015 and a couple other reprints, right? So we had an Ultimate Masters printing. And since the Ultimate Masters printing, we can see a bit of a dip in Karn. But this is pretty dramatic, and this kind of is echoed throughout, sort of the whole Modern meta right now. Is Modern's in a bit of a lull, and if you look over time, this is sort of natural. It pretty much the same spikes at the same time every single year, right? We go into the end of the year with, Karn going down, then go into the new year, January, February, big spike, Modern season comes around. And then he slowly sort of drifts off throughout the course of the year, new spike, same thing. It's been echoed every single year. But this is a pretty dramatic decrease over the course of the last year or so. And a lot of this, especially now, has to do with the fact that Pioneer is a really popular format. It's definitely one of the most popular formats in my store. It fires, every week with some of the biggest turnouts that we get. And I'm seeing numbers sort of slowly dwindle away from Modern. Now, I'm not saying that Modern's a dead or dying format or anything like that, or that you should, fire sell all your Modern cards right now while they're still worth something. I'm not saying that. I think Modern's always going to be a healthy format. It's going to be probably the new legacy sort of down the road. We look back, 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now, and we're going to look back and Modern's going to be kind of where sort of legacy is today. That's my feeling on it. And Pioneer's kind of going to be the new Modern. That's just the sort of natural progression of Magic over time. I mean, Magic had to do this, right? So we needed a new format. The breadth of Modern was getting too wide. So we need a format that's, not $1,500 for a deck for someone that doesn't want to play Standard and is sort of new to the game. And Pioneer sort of solves that problem. So going forward, we're going to have to keep our eye on cards like this and sort of just watch, what happens over the next sort of year or two. My position with pretty much everything in Modern that's a staple card is hold. There's no telling where Modern's going to be in a couple of years. Now, like I said, my feeling definitely is that sort of Modern will be the next legacy. And, I think that Wizards will probably realize that. And over time, cards like this will get very rare reprintings, if any at all. And so, there's going to be a price sort of creep up over time, just as we've always seen sort of with legacy cards. But Pioneer is definitely the future, at least in my opinion. So let's keep that in mind. All right, back to some more Pioneer spikes this week. So another one that really spiked this week is Bloodsoaked Champion from Konzatark here. And rightfully so. This card is really strong in Pioneer. As you can see, it's all sort of Pioneer builds that are including it. Really, really good, strong, solid card in any sort of mono black aggro strategy. It's a human warrior, so it slots well into human base decks as well. And even though we've already seen a dramatic increase this week, I played against this card a fair bit in the last few weeks in Pioneer in my store, and it's really solid. I do think this card has more upside, so if you're planning on getting or building decks with Bloodsoaked Champion for your Pioneer deck, now is a great time to grab it, because I really do think this is probably a $5-10 card, if we go out a couple months from now. So, like I said, even though we've already seen a dramatic price increase, I think this card has some way to go yet. So, still a good time to get into this one for sure. And another one that we have that spiked this week due to Pioneer demand is Shivan Reef. Actually, all of the lands from the Pain lands from the cycle that were printed in Magic Origins and Magic 2015, Landwire Waste, Shivan Reef. I mentioned these a couple of weeks ago. Guys, get these lands now. They're not going to get reprinted anytime soon. At least that's my opinion. And look at, even Landwire Waste. The graph is gonna keep going up on these lands because, like I said, they're not gonna get reprinted. We need the other color cycle in Pioneer, so it is extremely unlikely that these will be reprinted anytime soon. We're probably a couple years out from getting a fresh supply of these. Now, they have a lot of reprints in various core sets and things like that, so don't get me wrong, these aren't gonna ever be $20 cards. But these lands are $4, $5, $6 lands, and right now they're $1, $2, $3. So get them now. Make sure you get at least your play set of all the lands, because you never know what decks you're gonna want to build going forward, right? So get your play sets now while you can, while they're cheap. All of these lands from the cycle in Magic Origins, Magic 2015. And stepping outside of Pioneer for just a moment, under Karts, I think you should strongly consider selling this week. Things like Carpet of Flowers, and the reason I'm saying that is if you look, these are uncommons that are being printed in the Mystery Booster. And I can tell you as a store owner, there's going to be a lot of these Mystery Boosters out there in the new year. I've already placed my order for them. In the new year, we're going to be selling these packs in the store. And Wizards has said publicly that they intend, for this cycle of Mystery Booster cards to be going on for quite an extended period of time, probably 6 months, or at least for most of 2020 anyway. So there's going to be a lot of these Mystery Booster packs out there, and anything that's kind of in the uncommon slot, there's going to be a ton of them. Now, I understand that the set is massive. There's something like 1,700, 1,800 cards, something like that in the set. So, just because something's uncommon doesn't mean we're going to be seeing it a whole lot open. But there is going to be a bunch of new supply of these cards in the marketplace. And so if we look at cards, especially things like Carpet of Flowers, this card is $18, $20 card. This is a risky one to be holding. If I would sell copies that I have. If I'm not, anything extra I have, I'm not using a commander deck or whatever, I would sell. Because I really do feel like once these things start getting opened en masse, the value of these kind of cards in the uncommon slot especially is really going to drop. So you can find the list online. Have a look at the list. Look at the cards that are getting reprinted. focus on ones that are in the uncommon slot, and strongly consider moving those cards while they still have a reasonable amount of value. All right, let's have a look at some cards I'm investing in this week. And we're going to kick things off with Scavenging Ooze, with the last major printing being in Magic 2014. I mean, it's had a couple of Commander printings since then, but Commander printings are usually pretty light and don't inject a whole lot of new supply into the market, and usually have very little on the impact of a price of a card. So, last major printing, Magic 2014. Of course, it's Pioneer legal. The things we need to think about when we're investing, looking at a card to invest in for long-term purposes is, I've gone over these before, but we'll touch on them again. So does the card get played in multiple formats? Does it have a proven track record? And decks that play it, do they run multiple copies? Scavenging Ooze checks all the boxes. I mean, starting to see a lot of play in Pioneer, which is good. That's healthy. This is a good card. It's been played for years in Modern, especially in things like Jund. Really good sort of main board and sideboard tech to sort of deal with graveyard strategies and things like that. The card has a proven track record. It's played across multiple formats. It's played in Commander too, right? That's why we see it printed in Commander sets. So played across multiple formats, and the decks that run them quite often run multiple copies of it. So this is a card that hasn't yet spiked, but it is getting a lot of attention in Pioneer. So now's a great time to jump in at under the $6 mark, because I see a long-term healthy growth for this card. All right, the next one I have for you guys is Chandra A Flame from Core Set 2020. To be honest with you, I'm surprised at the $6 price tag. I think she should be much higher, and I think she will be much higher going forward. This card is played heavily in Standard, especially now that Standard's trying to find its footing since the Oko ban. It's run as multiples of in Cavalcade decks. I did a deck tech this week on Jund Cat Food. Check that out if you guys are interested in sort of looking at anything new for Standard. It's really strong. I'm playing a lot on Arena and doing really well with that. So I run 2 of that in that list. But it's starting to also get a lot of attention in Pioneer. Look, guys, we've opened what's going to be opened of Core Set 2020. There's going to be very little new supply of Core Set 2020 coming into the marketplace. So I really do only see upside for this card, and rightfully so. It's really good, really slots in well with any sort of sack strategies or aggressive red strategies. So pick this card up at $6 while you can. And the next one I have for you guys this week is Blast Zone from War of the Spark. At $3.75, this card is really good value. I feel like we've sort of bottomed out here. I don't see any more downside for this. Again, same as sort of with Chandra from Core Set 2020. Most of War of the Spark has been opened. So again, there's not going to be a whole lot more of this coming on to as supply in the marketplace. Look at this, guys. This is healthy. It's getting played in Modern, Pioneer, even Legacy. So I'm sure there's lots of Commander decks that run this as well. The only thing holding back the price, really, this would be a $20 card if it was playsets of in sort of all these decks in all these formats, but it's usually just run as a one of. So it's taking time for, the supply to get chewed up in the marketplace, but that's happening, and this card is going to be going up from here. So now's a great time to be grabbing at least whatever you think you're going to need, but I would honestly strongly consider some copies of Blast Zone as a long-term investment. All right, and the last one I have before we get to our speculation play of the week is Cleansing Nova from Core Set 19. And this one is for subscriber Maurice Del Taco. A sweet name, by the way. He asked last week if I could do a video on enchantment hate going into Theros, which is actually an excellent idea, and I'm going to take your advice on that. And as we get a little closer to Theros and see kind of what we're getting, from some of the spoilers, I will definitely be doing a video on that. But it got sort of the wheels turning, and this is a card that probably everybody should pick up. The reason I'm saying that is we are going to be seeing, a ton of enchantments. with the new Theros set. As I mentioned, as our spec plays for the last few weeks have been like Starfield Mystic, Herald of the Pantheon, because those are going to be enchantment engines for new deck tech for, Pioneer and even Standard. I mean, Herald of the Pantheon's not in Standard, but Starfield Mystic is. So they're very well will be definitely a Standard deck. So yeah, you want to make sure you get copies of Starfield Mystic and Herald of the Pantheon, as we mentioned earlier. But this is the be-all, end-all answers to getting rid of enchantments in the Pioneer format. I mean, we have Back to Nature, sort of, and if enchantment decks get out of control, you will see decks that are, in green playing things like Back to Nature. But in white, definitely Cleansing Nova is a really good option. We can, it gives us multiple options. We can destroy all creatures or destroy all artifacts and enchantments. Just hit the reset button. And this is just a good card that, I mean, it's only printing is, Core Set 2020. So it does get played in Commander as well. So definitely a good card to be picking up for investment purposes, both for the, sort of speculation that there could be a strong enchantment deck coming out of new stuff we get from Theros, but just as a long-term investment, this card, I mean, if we don't get a bunch of reprints in a bunch of new Commander sets, or sorry, well, we could see in Commander sets, but I mean a bunch of new core sets and stuff, this is a good sort of long-term investment because it'll have natural organic growth from demand from Commander and stuff like that. All right, and our speculation play for the week is Rampage of the Clans from Ravnica Allegiance. Great card to pick up at sort of under 50 cents for a rare. And you're probably saying, Dave, why would I want this junky card? I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to put together a Pioneer deck that is going to be running Starfield Mystic, Herald of the Pantheon, a bunch of cheap enchantments. I'm going to flood the board with them. And then at the end of my opponent's turn, I'm going to destroy all my enchantments and turn them all into 3/3 green centaurs and swing in for just massive damage on my turn. This is a deck that's on the horizon. The wheels are turning. I haven't even seen Theros stuff yet, but I mean, unless Theros is total trash, I really do think that that's a good possibility for a deck. And I'm sure other people have caught this one as well. Good deck builders, some of the premium sort of deck builders, I'm sure this is on their radar. So get your copies now, at least get a play set. You can't go wrong picking up a play set of rares for like $2, right? So think of this one. This is our spec play for the week. All right. I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode of This Week in MTG Finance. If you did, make sure you smash that like button and leave a comment in the section below. It really helps me out. And we'll see you guys again next week. Bye for now.